3 years ago, the Islamic State, ISIS, as it is today, did not exist. The terrorist organization became prominent in April 2013 by taking advantage of the power vacuum left behind by the United States forces following the invasion of Iraq. The group has gained prominence through a highly advanced social media campaign that is focused primarily on their acts of humanitarian violence, most notably the beheadings of American hostages. This presentation will focus on how ISIS has managed to sustain itself over the months and years following their rise to power. This is an important topic because without the means to generate revenue, ISIS would fail to propagate their message of fundamentalist Islam, and therefore be insignificant on the world stage. International relations is a key proponent when working with this subject, as the already compromised stability of the Middle East hangs in the balance.
How does ISIS get their money? Oil sold on the black market, ransoms, taxation, looting antiquities, seizure of banks, seizure of private assets, private donors and royalty, and seizure of grain silos. Oil. It is estimated that ISIS has taken control of over 300 oil wells in Iraq alone. ISIS creates approximately 80,000 barrels a day. Through the black market, ISIS is able to sell their oil for a cheaper price, and U.S. airstrikes have only decreased ISIS's production by 35%. Ransom. ISIS has received an estimated $20 million in ransom money this year alone. Ransom money contributes approximately 20% to ISIS. Looting of antiquities. 1/3 of Iraq's 12,000 important archaeological sites are now under ISIS control. These artifacts date from 9000 BC to AD 1000. Through the black market, ISIS sells to private collectors who live in the United States and Europe. Taxation and extortion. Levying of taxes on goods shipped in and out of Syria and Iraq. Imposing a revolutionary tax on people in ISIS-controlled areas in order to help fund the Islamic State. Extortion. ISIS simply forces people to pay or they face extreme punishment. Seizure of banks and bank accounts. It is estimated that $1.5 billion have been seized by ISIS from banks. Private assets. Livestock, grain, property, human trafficking. Women and girls are being forced into marriage and or being used for sex, and boys are being recruited as soldiers for ISIS. Private donors. ISIS does receive money from royal donors such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and Persian Gulf royalty. Although in 2013, Saudi Arabia passed legislation prohibiting this practice. Using social media apps to advertise their need for humanitarian aid by using unregistered charities, which are all fake. Seizure of grain silos. ISIS controls an estimated 40% of Iraq's annual wheat production, and the terrorist organization has proven that they intend to become a completely sustainable state.
The taking of Mosul. During the northern Iraq offensive that started in June 2014, the Islamic State and allied groups began coordinated and strategic advances on several northern cities in Iraq, one of which was Mosul. On June 6th, ISIS swept through the city, aided by sleeper cells that were present before the attack. Fighting ensued over the next couple of days, and when the city was finally captured, the local branch of the Bank of Iraq was looted. ISIS militants seized an estimated $250 million in cash, as well as several tons of gold bullion, or gold bars, that were suspected to be worth at least an additional $250 million. This was seen as a monumental leap forward in terms of the group's financial stability, and their influence grew exponentially as a result.
ISIS has proposed its own currency, which will be backed by gold, similar to the US dollar before 1971. The amount of gold will be equal to the monetary value of the currency. Although where the US had reserves of gold in Fort Knox, ISIS currency will be minted in gold and other metals. The Islamic State's independent currency will be minted in gold, silver, and copper. It is unclear where the group will be collecting these metals from. The use of interest, known as usury in Islamic faith, is known as a sin. And ISIS claims to have a currency that does not incur interest and cannot inflate. ISIS aims to create an economic exclusive zone in which all money circulation in its territory is internal. The economic implications could be drastic, as foreign trade accounts for much of the region's wealth. Proposed ISIS currency has various Islamic symbolism. The 10 dirham silver coin has an image of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the place from which Muhammad went on a night journey from Mecca to Al-Aqsa, and the first direction in which Muslims face to pray. The proposed pholos is made from copper and depicts a crescent moon symbolizing the time of prayer in Islamic faith. The adoption of a unique currency is another step ISIS is attempting to take in order to create an Islamic state. It is unclear how the situation will play out, yet it is clear that ISIS intends to become an independent state.
How does this relate to IR? It is important to view the events leading up to the rise of ISIS when attempting to discern the political importance of the terrorist organization. When viewed through the lens of international relations, there are a multitude of reasons why the United States should be concerned with the rise of this particular group. After having invested so many resources and lives to promote democracy and bring peace to the region, it is frustrating to see our efforts as a country go up in smoke. However, the more important argument that is being made is, if left unchecked, ISIS could grow to a point where it threatens the United States homeland. ISIS is also fundamentally different in their views of human rights, something the United States and United Nations in particular are responsible for advocating throughout the world.